body's proteins. It browns the body's proteins and cross-links them. So the solution I worked out, you know, he's 32 years old now. I think we worked that out in maybe 15, 20 years ago, was to say, forget about taking glucose to feed the brain. Let the liver do it. Your body knows how to do this. So we began cutting all the things that would elevate the blood sugar and ended up with this diet, which I will show you in a minute. It turned out we were inventing the glycemic index, or the insulin index diet, back in those days in our house, in our home. But the trick was to, if you let the liver do it, it's an energy on demand system. Again, economics is very helpful here. Instead of trying to manage the amount of injection and the amount of dosage, you let the liver do it. The liver has learned for million years how to do this. So here, the theory they pose is the adipose tissue and the body and the brain and the signaling mechanisms that the brain uses. And basically you have the brain doing one of two things: allocating energy within the body or ingesting energy. Those are really the two tasks. And we ended up in our experiments at home letting the brain run the shop. But to that I would add greedy fat, because fat is an active organ, secretes many hormones, and is actually highly inflamed tissue. So the macrophages go into the adipocytes. About 30% of the cell deaths in a day that you experience come from fat cells, and they leak their contents, and they recruit the immune system in to mop up. So inflammation. Inflammation underlies all of these known chronic diseases that we have today. Insulin resistant type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease is a disease of inflammation. Cancer and declining immune function are all related to that. So by creating insulin resistance, the brain, the fat tissue actually disrupts the amount of glucose available to the brain. And this is one of the reasons why the brain begins to decline in mass when you become insulin resistant and the adipose tissue is taking over. Now, back to the fractal issue again. Here's a power law, typical power law distribution. Now humans, they're omnivores, but a great deal of their energy is acquired through predation. They're predators as well. In terms of dental isotopes, ancient humans are just below the wolf in terms of the amount of reliance on meat and animal sources. Of course, that was during the depths of the ice ages. It can change. It varied all over the place. But here is the distribution, which shows that energy expenditures, a lot of these predators have very languid coasting time. Most of the time, they're taking it easy, like people who follow my approach. We don't exercise very much. We don't want to be in the gym. We want to only have these episodes, these fight or flight episodes, in the gym. That's what we save the gym for. So you have the power law distribution, and every one of these predators does this, and this is closest to what children do. It's the penguin. These are dive depths, and this is the frequency of the dive depth. Okay? Let's go. Turns out the heart is a fractal, follows a fractal series as well. Here, I'm bringing chaos into this thing, so this is one way we do it. Here's a healthy young heart. This is a not so healthy heart, and this is a very unhealthy heart. The slope of these curves is quite different. They have to do with the randomness, whether it's power law distributed, and the randomness and the correlations between interbeat intervals in the heart. Here's what weight training does in terms of that. You take somebody who was on the high end, the low end or the high end. This is dangerous. This is maybe not so dangerous, but it's not so good. After a few weight training sessions, they both converge to the healthy pattern. Weight training has been, sort of frowned upon for health, for cardiovascular health, but it's enormously important. In fact, jogging is worse because jogging turns your heart into a metronome, and that's too periodic. a beat. You want the fractal kind of heartbeat. I must have had that there twice. So children do the same thing. Here's 2% of the, 2.6% of all the registered time are these counts, these physical activity accounts with an accelerometer on the child, accounts for 20% of the energy expenditure. This is how we work out. I work out from 10 minutes to half an hour, maybe twice a week. And here's the power law that I fitted to the children's data. They behave like predators because they're training to be predators when they grow up. This is how I see it. Children's play is an excellent model. Eat fresh vegetables, nuts and fruit, and watch the alcohol. Skip dinner at least once a week. That's intermittent fasting. Exercise with a fractal variation. Lift weights, run sprints, don't jog. The goal is to exercise as humans did roughly 40,000 years ago. And you must relax and you must let it happen because you actually eat less on this diet. The energy expenditure is higher and your energy intake is lower if you do it voluntarily than if you do it in a controlled fashion. Okay, thank you.